As you can see, I'm traveling and I left home about 5 or 6 days ago. And it's just a reminder that when I'm at home, it's so much easier to feel good because I'm in my routine. I can cook at home. I know everything that goes into my food. I can do my enemas and, drink my bone broth and use my water filter and everything else. But when I'm traveling, not all of that is available. When I travel, it's usually for 2 to 4 weeks, so it's for a long time. And so I really need to look at what are the biggest things that I know make a difference for me to feel good, and conversely, the things that make me not feel good. And I really try and, keep as much of a kind of routine-ish as I can. One of the biggest things is I love eating out at restaurants. That's like, as you know, so many of us do, that's like a huge thing that we do when we're visiting friends and family. But for me, when I do it very regularly, I don't feel good. And part of that, a big part of that is that we just don't know what they're putting in the food. Typically, I think for me, one of the biggest problems, and probably for any of us that have digestive issues, is that they're using oils that we're not used to. And also I order things at restaurants that I wouldn't make at home. And for me, eating some bread or fried food or something every once in a while is fine. But if I'm doing it like regularly, it's not fine. So, the last 5 days, I'm feeling quite good now. But I went from my home in Montpellier to Paris. I spent one night in Paris. Then I flew to Charlotte, North Carolina. I stayed in a hotel for 3 days in Charlotte with no kitchen. So I was eating out every meal and American food. And then I came to Mexico and I'm staying with a friend here. And it took me until today to feel pretty good. So that was 4 or 5. This is my 6th day, to feel pretty good. Day 1, I felt good because one of the things that I try to do as much as possible is take some food with me so that, I can, I don't have to eat a big meal at a restaurant, or if I want something small, I don't have to get, like, a lot of the time the food you can get out and about is like, if it's something small, it's going to be a sandwich, which is on bread. I'm realizing my stomach doesn't love bread, even if it's better bread, like French bread from France. Eating it regularly, my body doesn't love. So I'll bring food with me. I have these amazing, I meant to bring them, but as you can see, I'm at a friend's house and I didn't bring it with me, but I have Tupperwares that are made out of silicone, plastic top silicone, so they're not the best, when you're at home, use glass, but when you're traveling, glass is just not convenient. But I have, they fold. So I have a set of 3 of different sizes and I fill them with a meal, usually it's like hard-boiled eggs and like a salad of sorts, or some cooked veggies and some like pumpkin seeds or walnuts or something like that. And I'll make like a meal with me so that at least the next meal after leaving my house is going to be healthy home cooked meal that I made myself. And then once I've eaten it, I can just fold the Tupperware down and it slides in my backpack and it takes up almost no space. It's like this. I just ordered those on Amazon. My dear friend Ale had those because she's also a traveler and she also likes to eat well, and I totally grabbed that from her. So thanks, Ale. I really try and stay in places that have a kitchen. If I'm in a place for like one night, I'm not gonna cook, but like if I'm in a place for at least 3 nights, I'll go to the grocery store and buy eggs. Are always like a go-to for me, and some vegetables, and cook eggs and vegetables, and depending on how long I'm staying there, like some other stuff, but things that I would cook at home. And I'll cook, because at least, okay, I might go out for lunch or I might go out for dinner, but I'm gonna have breakfast at where, like, a home cooked breakfast. And I think for me that has made a huge difference. If I can start the day with a home cooked breakfast, of like good proteins and veggies and maybe a little bit of fruit and some good fats, that's going to help me a lot. The other thing is water, and I have not figured out water yet. In places like the US and France, they consider that their water is pretty good quality. Well, depending on where you are, it might be really have a lot of minerals in it, so it's like really like hard water, or it has parasites in it that are not being tested for, or bacteria and things. They're, you know, like in the scheme of things, it might be like good water, so people drink tap water. But when you have a compromised system, and even if you don't have a compromised system, really you need to be drinking filtered water, filtered to 0.5 microns, which is the size of the filters, and that will filter out any parasites and bacteria and things like that. I have a great water filter that's small on my tap at my house. And the last time I traveled, I took it with me, but it didn't fit on the tap at the taps at the 2 Airbnbs that I stayed at. And on this trip, I had someone staying at my house, so I didn't even think to bring it with me. But I didn't bring it because it may or may not fit on the taps. So it had been like when I was in France, I stayed at a place, like they're just drinking tap water there, and I was just drinking tap water. And again, like the French say, you know, Paris is supposed to have some of the best tap water in the world, actually. So, okay, that's, you know, better than crap tap water. And then in the US, I stayed in a hotel that had filtered water in the lobbies. You could get, they had like big things of water. And I would imagine, because it was like a Marriott hotel, that actually I was traveling with my girlfriend who's a chemist and used to work in that world, and she was like, oh yeah, like they have a deal, like Marriott and all these big hotels have deals with a company that puts in water filters for them. So if you're going to drinking water at a Marriott hotel in Charlotte, North Carolina, and they have it out there for you for drinking, it's probably going to be pretty good quality. So I was able to drink that there. I always travel with a water bottle, and in fact, I just got this one and it's stainless steel. I had a glass one, and I gave it to somebody who needed water on the street a few days ago, so I gave her my water bottle. But I always carry a water bottle with me, and I will drink it until I get to the airport. And then, you know, you have to empty it, so I just drink it all. And then, depending on where in the world I am, I can fill it up with filtered water once I get through security. Traveling makes you constipated. So, especially if you're flying, but in general, even if you're going on like a long car ride or on a train or on a boat, I guess, you know, our bodies are bracing themselves. They're becoming more rigid because we're going at hundreds of miles an hour and 36,000 feet in the air and crossing time zones and in pressurized cabins, and the air is very dry in there. It's going to make you constipated. So I try and remember that. And a day or two before I'm going to fly, just extra water and mineralized water. So putting trace minerals or squeezing some lemon or lime or in the water, excuse me, putting salt in it, a little bit of good sea salt. I'm drinking warm water. I will do that before I leave. So I started doing that a couple of days ago, but then a couple of days before I left, but then like when I was in Paris, I was just nervous about drinking just straight up tap water. And so I think I wasn't drinking as much. And then I took an 8.5-hour flight to the US. And so I got a little bit backed up between that and eating in restaurants for 3 days. And I'm just now like kind of regulating my bowel movements. I'm also taking a spore-based probiotic right now called Bacillin coagulus. I think most like decent quality probiotics will be good for this, but if you don't typically take probiotics, start taking them a couple days before traveling. 2 or 3 days before traveling and drinking a lot of mineralized water and take the probiotics through your time of doing that, which, you know, is easy to pack, you know, a bottle of probiotics, and that will definitely help. So yeah, I think that that's been helping me. This time, you know, sometimes I travel with a lot of my supplements and stuff like that, but I've really reduced a lot of that anyways in my life, and I'm just focusing on like mineralizing my body with good like nettle tea. I'm making nettle tea and trace minerals in my water and stuff. And I think if you can just focus on that, like mineralizing, you know, getting minerals and vitamins and fiber in the form of vegetables, cooked vegetables ideally, then that's going to really help with all of the things, you know, pooping well and your energy levels and pushing out the food that you're eating from restaurants that isn't as great, or the alcohol that you're drinking more of. So yeah, the last couple of days that I've been with a kitchen at a friend's house in Mexico, I've just been eating more veggies and making my my nettle tea, which has a lot of minerals in it. But it can be tough, especially if you're traveling like you know, where you're in a different place. Like if you're going on like a vacation where you're in a different place every 2 or 3 days. It can be really tough. So figuring out what keeps you regular and what makes you feel good before you leave, and finding a version of that that you can pack with you or buy when you get there. Like even if you, like I do, like I love lemon water. Lemon water helps with bile production and cleansing, or, you know, like getting your, unclogging your liver, which, you know, your liver is the primary detoxing organ, which you're absolutely going to need while you're traveling. Like if you can even support that by just wherever you go, like buying lemons in the store and always doing lemon water in the morning to hydrate yourself before you go out and about, then that is really helpful. I also, yeah, I mean, I carry water with me always to just continue to hydrate myself, and I think that makes a big difference. I'm also just generally like always thirsty, so I like to have water with me. And in some places that you go, again, you either can't get, like you're gonna get tap water at a restaurant, so bring with you some filtered water, or you have to buy water. And okay, if it's $1, fine, but some places like in France, it's like €5 for a small bottle of plastic bottle of water if you don't just drink the tap water that they will give you for free. So I'm like, I'll bring my own. So I pretty much always bring my own when I go out in France. What else? I feel very grateful that I'm able to travel, like slow travel, because, you know, I work remotely and I have a lot of freedom of my time. And so mostly I'm staying in a place for a little while, and mostly those places have kitchens, and so I can do grocery shopping. The other thing about grocery shopping is, you know, that I'm like really trying to get like good fiber and good fats when I'm cooking at home when I'm traveling, because, you know, we don't get as much of that when you go out to eat. Like usually when you go out to eat, you're not getting like a heaping pile of, you know, great cooked vegetables in a healthy, you know, coconut or like olive oil or something. You're getting, you know, there's not a lot, there's like potatoes is like the side dish, you know. But I feel really grateful that I get to travel slowly so that I can mostly keep up with feeling well. And I will also, you know, do some other things that I typically do in my routine. Like I won't work out every day, but when I start to feel clogged up and tired, I pretty much always carry like a sports bra and a pair of shorts with me, and we'll go for a run. you know, or you can, depending, you know, if you don't like to run, you know, like push-ups and squats and things like that. But getting my heart rate up and doing something active, getting in nature, that also definitely gets my system moving and detoxing itself better. Shaking, I will definitely start to do that after a few days of like too much stuff. And I try to, like, I'm better now than I used to be about feeling when it's coming on. Like when I start to kind of feel bloated and noticing the inflammation, and then my joints feel kind of creaky, and then I'm sleeping in a little bit too late, or I'm going to bed a little too late, or for me, sugar too. Oh, the other thing that I am traveling with now that I think is making, like, is really good, two things. One is garlic tablets. Garlic is really like antimicrobial and really good for if you have like for like sugar, like neutralizing and getting the sugar out of your body. So I don't know about you, but like I definitely eat more sugar than normal when I'm traveling. So at night before going to bed, I'll take a garlic tablet, and I think that helps keep at bay the imbalance in my, you know, intestinal flora that happens when I eat too much sugar. And the other one is milk thistle, which I've been taking for a few months. I had never done that before until it was recommended to me to do while I was doing my parasite cleanse a few months ago, because it really, milk thistle is great for supporting the liver. And that you can also buy in capsules. You can do tea, but you can also do capsules. Artichoke is supposed to also be really good for this. I haven't done artichoke, just so you know. But so I just carry a little bag of, right now I have a little bag with me of garlic capsules and garlic tablets and milk thistle to support my liver detoxing better. So I just try and like, I'm really noticing mostly when it starts coming on, and then it's like when I start to feel kind of icky, and then I'm like, okay, choose the healthier option at the restaurant, like if I don't have a way to cook, or like just making sure, like trying to get a good meal in the morning as the first meal, and taking some of these tools like milk thistle, probiotics, and garlic. Yeah, really right now I'm traveling with those three things, and I brought nettle tea with me. It's called ortie. Tisane d'ortie in French, or in Spanish, ortilla. And I'm making that now. I hadn't been making it for the last several days because I was staying in a hotel, but I'm making that now at my friend's house. And you just make it like a regular tea, but you use a lot of leaves. So very easy with hot, hot tea, and then I just let it cool, and I'll drink it throughout the day. Yeah, so I feel pretty good. I've got like one large Ziploc bag that's not even full of like those things. And that's pretty much all I have with me. And then just doing my best to drink a decent amount of water and get decent quality water. The one thing I will add in the future for sure is I've got to find a good water filter that will kill parasites and bacterias. I started doing a little research on that, but haven't pulled the trigger on anything. I'll let you know what I end up buying. And it would be really good to add minerals to, like if I could get a small bottle of trace minerals or something to carry with me. But also I just do like lemon and salt, or even baking soda. Baking soda? Yeah, baking soda and lemon in water. So yeah, I'm feeling much better now that I've kind of grounded myself here. When I have an opportunity, I put my feet on the ground as well. I think that helps to keep things moving, and just trying to flow on those days when I am traveling all day. And allow myself to just be where I'm at, and keep my body like not let it get too rigid, because again, we're like bracing ourselves when we travel like that. And so just keeping that in mind and knowing that, you know, to keep things flowing and to keep ourselves feeling well, we need to like relax and move things through our body. So hydration and all that. So I hope you like my new digs. I'm here at my friend's house in Mexico, and I will see you in the next video, maybe from here or maybe from somewhere else. Okay, here is to being well. See you in the next video.